the Timberwolves president of basketball operations, David Kahn. Who is he?
Tell us exactly about this European Blake Griffin.
I don't know. I think Blake Griffin and some American numbers.
The Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant.
The Milwaukee Bucks select Dirk Nowitzki from Würzburg, Germany.
I'm Ricky Rubio. I'm not like anybody else, but
It ain't the end of the world. We're going to see each other again. I mean, I'll send him some flowers or some fruit.
All right, and we are here to talk about University of Arizona basketball. The college season is getting going. We've had a few exhibition games that were lackluster and not to what the fans want to hear about, but we have Kevin Zimmerman from the AZ Desert Swarm on SB Nation. It's a blog that he runs and writes for on there to talk about University of Arizona sports. How's it going today, Kevin?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem at all. We definitely appreciate the time over here. And I just wanted to kind of take a look at University of Arizona. Like I said, they started off a little bit lackluster. You told me earlier that you had a chance to watch the second game, the one that they actually just won here over the weekend, right?
Yes, I did.
Give us your overview on that game. What was that like?
Well, it was an improvement over the first. Obviously, Arizona lost to Seattle Pacific, a D2 school, to start their exhibition season, and they came back the other night against Humboldt State, and, you know, they looked a little better. Definitely improved as far as their big men rebounding. They showed some intensity out there, and, you know, like it was against Seattle Pacific, it was an ugly game, and it was not pretty to watch at all, but they at least pulled out the win that time, and a lot of that was the grittiness that came through.
Now, with that game, though, I mean, one thing to take into consideration is Butler, the defending two-time national runner-up, just lost in an exhibition game as well, and people overreacted until they found out that Brad Stevens treated that game exactly like what it was. It was an exhibition with a lot of walk-ons playing in key moments and starters just getting their run here and there. It wasn't an organized game. Is that what Sean Miller's doing, or are we seeing the Arizona team that we're going to see come season time?
I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, you know, both of the teams that Arizona's played so far are good Division II, ranked Division II teams, so that's why he scheduled them. But at the same time, he is running through full lineups, not necessarily walk-ons, but he's playing 10-11 deep right now, and he's trying to figure out, you know, who's going to fit in. Obviously, losing Momo Jones, who transferred to Iona last year, who would have been a junior, and of course, Derek Williams went number 2 to the Timberwolves in the draft. That was a huge loss, and, you know, it's more than just losing them and filling in for them. It's, you know, how do the pieces work together, and I think he's really trying to figure that out right now, especially big men in the middle. You have Kirill Nadyatsko, who looks like he'll hold on to the starting center spot, and, you know, he's not used to playing, you know, big minutes other than a couple here and there off the bench. And Miller said, you know, we're not going to run 10 deep like we did last year when they ran to the Elite Eight. They're going to probably chop it down to maybe 7, 8 players if they don't have the talent to go 10 deep. So he's really just trying to feel everything out right now and how all the pieces work together.
And they're deep on the wing. You hit the nail on the head with this team that's going to probably attribute to most of their struggles is they're not a very deep or, for that matter, overly talented team in the paint. I mean, losing Derek Williams is a big part of that, but also the fact that they don't have natural centers and guys that are used to playing big minutes. Is that going to be their curse for this season, or do you feel that they're going to be able to overcome that with the strong guard play that they look like they may have?
I think they can overcome it to a degree. I mean, even last year they didn't play especially big. Williams played center a lot. So I think they're going to look to go small, and they have the roster to do that. You know, as far as pure playmakers go, the 2 freshmen in the backcourt, Josiah Turner is, you know, he hasn't shown the assertiveness. Obviously, he's a freshman trying to feel his way, but he shows flashes that he's a very good point guard. Nick Johnson, obviously, is more of a 2 guard, but he, I think, will get a lot more time coming up here because he can play D. He's a hardworking kid, and he has a jumper, and obviously he's known for his dunking. So those 2 guys, I think, once, you know, it'll take a while just for the transition into college, but I think that they might end up being very important as far as being the playmakers.
Now, with Nick Johnson and with Josiah Turner, obviously getting a lot more of the play due to Jordan Mays, does he have an ETA on when he's going to be playing full-time minutes again?
I believe Jordan is already, he's ready to go. He's just a month, I believe, behind conditioning is what Miller said. And honestly, throughout the season, I've written about this. I think Jordan Mays, he's still a huge part of this team. Last year in the tournament especially, he showed that he's, a very calm, collected guy, runs the team well as far as, controlling tempo and all of that. He's not quite the pure playmaker that Turner is, but definitely I think the point guard spot is going to be split, especially when Mays gets back into the swing of things and his conditioning is caught up.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to assess this team when they got probably three or four guys that are going to be clogging a two-part backcourt, and a lot of them have the same skill set where they should be running the point. So a little bit tough on that regard. What about guys like, I know you mentioned Sadiki Johnson in a kind of an interesting way that he's that guy in the gym that, and it's hit or miss with him because he just plays with all of his strength and athleticism. Where are they going to get those big-time minutes from there? Is it going to be Solomon Hill, Sadiki Johnson? Who's going to be able to step up to fill that void in the paint for them, or at least on the wing?
I think they're going to look at Jesse Perry, who's a center. He was a JC transfer last year. He's, not the most talented, but he's definitely a hustle guy. Will get lots of rebounds, had a double-double the other night. And then Solomon Hill, Miller called him out after this last game and said, Solomon needs to be more assertive because as far as talent goes, I'm of the opinion that Solomon Hill has one of the most talented, skill sets on the team. He's just missing the mental, am I going to take this game over? Am I going to, get into the paint and draw fouls and be aggressive? And I think that's what Miller is looking for as well because he can rebound, he can, handle it, pass, score, he can do it all. It's just a matter of mentally getting him set. As far as Sadiki, I think Sadiki is a little rough around the edges right now, just as far as decision-making. This past game, he was thrown in on one play and took the first pass and launched up a three-pointer that was an air ball, and Miller pulled him for Angelo Chol, another center. Actually, Angelo who was a freshman, was playing power forward, and Miller's going to start looking at him to play center now because he's shown that he can at least help in the middle and defend and get rebounds. So that's just another piece into a very complicated puzzle, I guess.
So yeah, this team it looks like on paper, they got a lot of pieces that fit in a lot of similar holes. So it's going to be about managing that. And I talked to Solomon Hill before the season about his natural progression as a player and how he took a back seat last year due to some locker room situations that were going on where he was told he was being a little bit selfish. Is that still hanging over his head? Because from what I understood in the preseason, he had gotten past that and he was starting to show strides of improvement over the summer. Can you see that in his game over these first couple of games?
I think it's just in his personality that to not be the guy to, take it to the rack and, really take it one-on-one a lot. He's a very unselfish guy. He's smart, one of the smarter, basketball minds on the team. And I think he just has to figure it out on the court, when to take it and when to play within the offense. But they definitely need him to. Just like I said, he's talented enough where he needs to be one of the guys to step up. And whether he does that or not, I think will just be, a progression throughout the season.
Where do you see this? I know it's really early for projections, but really when you look at this season, you're looking at UCLA, Washington, Arizona, and Cal as that fourth team that could be a wild card in the situation. How do you see this team finishing? Do they have a chance to win the Pac-10 again, or are these fatal flaws going to be the doom for them and they're not going to be able to make it out of the Pac-10?
I think I'd actually put them third right now, where that the media poll, the Pac-12 media poll put them behind Washington, and then I think UCLA is the best team. I think that Arizona does have a lot of talent, and I'm a Sean Miller believer in that he's a really good coach, and it's about not what's the beginning product, but how his team develops throughout the season. So I think third is a fair place to put them, and I'm not expecting them to win the league, but I think definitely they'll be an NCAA tournament team. And, as we saw at the end of last season, they had struggles even toward the end of the year, and then they went on that run. So, it's just, I think, a progression through the season, and I think that's why Miller's a good coach, because he's, playing these tough teams now, and they have a tough early schedule, which could be ugly, but that could turn into a lot of learning lessons as this team grows and figures out, who's going to be the man, who's going to get playing time and all that.
Yeah, and gold fell on Miller's lap a few times at previous coaching tenures, and then he got it again with Derek Williams when he came here. But he's proving that he's one of the top recruiters in the nation right now with the way he's bringing in talent. So if 2011 has a lot of question marks on it, we probably won't have as many in 2012 and going beyond with the way he's recruiting. So where can we read you other than the AZ Desert Swarm? You write a little bit for Dime. Do we got anything else going on?
I write occasionally for the Daily Wildcat, which is the school paper, and that's where I've covered the team the last 2 years as a basketball beat writer. But yeah, I'm mostly on Desert Swarm, azdesertswarm.com. Hopefully we'll have time to do a little more Dime stuff in the future here, but yeah, that's where I'm writing right now.
And where can the audience find you on Twitter? Because this is for the Arizona crowd that's going to hear this, that wants to know what's going on with their Wildcats.
Yeah, on Twitter, my Twitter handle is offensivelyfoul. That's just, yeah.
One of the more creative Twitter names, actually, that's out there. It's Kevin Zimmerman. Again, you can read him on Dime, AZ Desert Swarm, the local, the Arizona paper that you were saying there, as well as on Twitter at offensivelyfoul. Thanks for the time, and we definitely look forward to catching up with you again as the season progresses.
Yeah, it was good talk, and I appreciate it again.
Yeah, have a great rest of your day, Kevin. Thanks again.
Thanks.
But I also felt very strongly that once the 14-year-olds hit the dais with us, we were dead. We were just dead. There was no way. This league has a habit, I'm just going to say habit, of producing some pretty incredible storylines.